Hey, what's going on, everyone? Jared here. Today, I wanted to talk about Hecahands, and this is the version that I am currently trying out. This is a Hecahands Eldlich version for Genesys format. I watched previous videos. You probably saw me talking about Hecahands in a negative light. This is also mostly pure ignorance. I this nothing I saw online was impressive, but it's very hard in Genesys format to not look at anything Yu-Gi-Oh related without going through the scope of modern Yu-Gi-Oh. And in Genesis format, I think Hecahands is actually a lot better than I was giving it credit for. So the reason why I think it's good is because there is multiple lines that end on fusion monster plus two counter traps. And if you know anything about Genesis format, most counter traps in Genesis are hit in some kind of regard on the point system. This deck allows you to search for two different counter traps while having pretty much 0 points. I believe it's 5 points if you wanted to do it consistently, which is amazing. All with no normal summon as well, and a side engine that's pretty solid. So I think that's pretty good. Now you can also expand this engine by playing the hand trap guy, Gordos, or Gatos, and then you can also include the hand rep guy, or the this is the 5 point that's mandatory in my opinion because it forces the most likely chance of hitting a monster in your opponent's top of their deck. Also, you can include the fusion spell / quick play spell. I am not sold on this package yet. This card and the Zeno. These cards I am not 100% sold on. I am still like kind of iffy on them, but I just don't know if the combo lines are kind of awkward with them, and also 10 points is 10 points. If I can save 10 points, I'm going to save 10 points. But it just depends on how much of a package I want this to be. So the Eldlich synergy lies kind of more or less with the sending effect off the hidden Hecahands, being able to set any Eldlich card, especially Cursed Eldlin, and being able to send it off the hidden Hecahands is very, very strong. A lot of value in that. But again, it's slow, right? Which is still a slow deck. It's still grindy, and it still needs time to be able to gain that advantage. So let's just go over the card by card very quickly, and then I also have a replay at the end of this video just showing the deck in game. It was a very good match too, so I wanted to show it. It also shows branded in the current Genesis format too very well, which I really liked. So yeah, without further ado, here is 3 Eptel, 3 Gatos, 3 Cursed Outland, 1 Golden Land Forever, 3 copies of Yadel, 1 Brios, 1 Gygus, 2 copies of the Golden Lord, 3 Sanguine, 3 Spirit Sculptor. This one is kind of weird. This card can actually search multiple different cards. It can search both different starters because they are both 1621 and 2116 respectively, which Spirit Sculptor is the perfect number for because itself is 1621. And in the side deck, it can also search Santa Claus, which is 37 total stats. That is what Spirit Sculptor is. So he's able to also search a Kaiju, which is very, very cool. And like I said, Eldlich and Hecahands do not have a dedicated normal summon, so having extra copies of these Hecahands cards is completely fine. Like I said, one of each counter trap, and then the 1 quick play spell, 1 of the Hakero, 3 Conquistador, 3 copies of the hidden Hecahands, 2 Ash, 3 Fua. I am not sold on this lineup. I kind of would rather play 3 Ash, but yeah, I'm still figuring out the niche details of the non-engine and things like that. 2 copies of the new Elixir of Glorious Golden Land. This card's very good because it's both a Elixir and a Golden Land that can be, set off of either of the Scarlet or the Golden Lands, which is very nice. But it also acts as interruption and value, which is very rare. And this card is very, very good. If this sticks on the board, it's a huge problem for your opponent because they will not outgrind this card. It is insane. And then lastly, I have 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet because Droplet with golden, Eldritch cards is still very good. If you drop it away, the 2 level 6 Hecahands, they also get value from the graveyard, which is very nice. So good synergy with Droplet. I like it a lot. I feel like there's never a scenario where I don't want Forbidden Droplet in my hand. It just always feels strong, either to set or to break a board with. Going in the side deck, like I mentioned, 3 Santa Claus because it's searchable off Spirit Sculptor, and you put this card in things against things like Super Quant or Ludolite, and it's like decks where if you don't see that, you just lose on the spot. You literally just auto lose. So I think being able to search this and having more copies of Santa Claus is perfectly fine. That's why I don't want to play like 1 Santa Claus. I will play 3 and just try to out the one problem that I have. And yeah, I would just rather have it than not. 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer because this card is broken. 3 copies of Twin Twister, again good back row removal plus synergy. 3 copies of Blizzard for going first to be able to stop any spell card. This is pretty much Draco Tail Flame, just a 0 point instead. It's just a little bit the better or worse depending on how you view it. And then 3 copies of Soundproof because Cool Tune is extremely popular in Genesis right now. For the extra deck, 3 copies of Jahuza, 1 copy of Zeno. This card is really, really good, by the way. You summon it by tributing a monster your opponent owns, as well as a face-up illusion monster that you have. Very easy to summon out, especially with these 2 Hecahands guys, makes it very easy. And then being able to add back Hecahands from the deck or grave, very important. This is like your long game with the Hecahands engines, being able to add back these traps and spells over and over and over again, especially if you're able to late game add back one off of the fusion monster. Like this is like a turn 2, like a turn, like, a full turn rotation later. You can add back one of the traps off of that, and then if you can send away what's it called, a Yadel from the from your hand or field to be able to reset the other one from the graveyard, you can just keep a pseudo loop going and keep your opponent under double counter trap, which is really, really hard to deal with. 3 Eldlich, the Mad Golden Ward. This card's crazy when it hits the field. It's a pain in the butt. Counts as Eldlich, but also the secondary effect super matters. It can be a short about battle or card effect, so it's pretty annoying to deal with, but also being able to tribute a zombie and take control of an opponent's monster is really, really important, because obviously that has synergies with the Hecahands cards, so you were able to tribute off the monster you took plus another guy to be able to go into your Hecahands monster and then continue from there. Or if you hold on to it, you can do it for a fusion summon for Tartaros to go into Zeno as well. So it's pretty cool. Next up, 3 Fallen Angel, Golden Land. I completely forgot about this card. Every time I play Eldlich, this card is so good. I underestimate it every time. It's just so annoying to deal with. It's just such an annoying card to be able to summon it, and then either your opponent has to deal with it, or I've even tribute summoned over this thing to be able to go to trigger it to summon the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. It's just a very, very good card to say the least. 1 copy of Garura, 1 copy of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, 1 copy of the Malong, 1 copy of the Aggregator, and 1 copy of Valon, all for the Ultimate Slayer. I know Skull Knight's probably a weird one. You don't see that one a lot. I wanted a fusion that also helps breaking boards, so obviously, this can pop a face-up target a monster to destroy it when it's in the graveyard. So, it's just I wanted more pressure going into a board. If you're going second, I wanted this to be able to interact with another monster, not just get a draw. Similar to Malong and Aggregator, both trade with other monsters on the field. And then Valon can trade with back row. There is another fusion you could play for the Fossil Warrior cards that pops back row if you think you need it. But, it's very particular that your opponent is going to have, a fusion monster and then also back it up with back row. And it's what is that do you need all of that in the extra deck for it? Maybe, but I'm just not playing it right now. Just more information that you should know. So yeah, that's the deck. It's very, very fun. Also, the fact that this card's a pseudo hand trap is very nice. So you get to play, you're upwards of 3, 6, 8 hand traps. You could even play more if you wanted to change Droplet out. You can definitely cut this down to 40 as well if you wanted to cut Spirit Sculptors or some of the Eldlich engine down. You can do that too. So this deck has a lot going for it, but it's important to know that this is control. It's slow. You're not trying to OTK your opponent. Keep in mind these are also all illusions, which is very annoying for a lot of decks to deal with. But it's also annoying because it's annoying for you as well, because there's times where you just want to clear bodies off the board, and these guys can't do it, and it's very frustrating. So I was debating on playing just more of a future note if you were trying this deck. Maybe some kind of Exceed monster to be able to go get these guys off the board, to be able to try to clear something off the board, right? Maybe a rank 7 or a rank 6 just to get these guys off. I know somebody was talking about the Vampire Exceed monster, not Vampire, not Zombie Vampire. This one, you can make this with one of the 6s and one of your opponent's monsters. So maybe this is a good option in the future, just something to consider. That's all. So yeah, just either a rank 6 or a 7 or something like this to be able just to clear bodies off the field a bit easier through battle means. One last thing before I go into the replay. Like I mentioned, counter traps very heavily hit in Genesys, and being able to have 2 of them on the field, very frustrating. It's even more frustrating when you are able to get a 3rd one with Golden Land Forever. Essentially, if your opponent doesn't hand trap you, you are trading with half their hand with just counter traps. That is insane. That is wild. That does not happen in Genesys format, and that's also not including any conquistadors or any other forms of interruptions like Ash Blossom, Droplet, etc., etc. So you have a lot going for you in this deck. So just something to keep in mind. Not a lot of decks are prepared to deal with a lot of counter traps. Very good into something like Killer Tune, where they normal summon a monster, use the effect, and you counter trap it, and they're sitting on a Killer Tune Synchro in hand. Doesn't do anything because it's counter trap. They can't respond to it. Spell speed 3. So the cards that normally would play around back row in that deck, it doesn't help versus this, which is nice if you just hit the monsters as they're being summoned. So just something to consider. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this replay that's right here. So as we can see, This is just going to be a quick rated game. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I don't want this video to be too long, but yeah, very, very fun game to say the least. Like I said, my opponent is on branded, as you can see up here. So we're going to start with Cursed. Cursed, get Conquistador. We're able to use Hidden Hecahands to be able to search and set. So we're going to grab Ibtel and set the, what's it called, the counter trap to negate monsters. We're going to use the Cursed L End effect to be able to dump the Hekaro. And then we're going to put back to be able to special Gygas from the deck, use the Gygas effect to be able to banish top 3. I choose to take the ad-lib here. I don't want to give him access to Tragedy or Cartesia. It's both terrifying. So I feel like that was just like the best one to take, to not give him in the graveyard. Yep, so then we grab the Fusion, grab the other counter trap, and then from here we could set, and then use the Hekaro, and then do the grab the Scarlet and pass. During our opponent's turn, they're going to go Branded Opening. That's fine. The only card I was worried about is Branded Fusion. So he's going to go Aluber. Aluber gets the Branded Fusion, so I choose to negate the monster effect. And I'm like, okay, if he has Branded Fusion anyway, we still have the spell regardless. This can also grab Branded Lost, and if he has Lost plus Fusion, we auto-lose, so I don't want to risk that. So he goes Fusion Deployment. I decided to negate the Fusion Deployment because what was it? I had a way to, I wanted to get my what's it called? I can't remember, the Eldlich stuff online. And then I wanted to use the Tartaros first. So to do that, I wanted to get this out of the way. I think I was fearful of something. What was I fearful of? I guess Cartesia, because I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have been scared of this. Maybe that was a misplay on my part. Maybe I should have let the Fusion Deployment go through. But yeah, I go Zeno with Tartaros, and then use the Zeno effect to be able to steal an extra deck guy, and I get Rimbrum, which is insane. This is the thing with this card. It's like kind of an interruption, but not a guaranteed interruption or a hindrance. It's weird. It makes me think I don't know if I really like it to the extent to play it yet. So he goes, what's it called? The Albion gets Cartesia, normal summons it, activates Branded Fusion. Yeah, and this is where like I wish I had there's a spell negate here to be able to stop it. I think negating that spell was incorrect to say the least. So yeah, we're gonna pop the Cartesia before he gets the Fusion monster because I didn't want him to be able to go into Albion or the other dragon and then chain the Cartesia to fuse them away. I'd rather just get rid of it now. So I chose to pop it beforehand just to clear it. Then that's where he sends the Draco Tail, and it's the first time I've seen Draco Tail cards. So that was like a terrible thing to see. This deck just kind of turned into like a fusion pile very quickly. I was like, oh god, this is terrifying. So yeah, now he has Rahu. He's Grand Guignol to try to send. And then I use the Rimbrum to negate it because I know he can chain block off Rahu as well. So I did not want to get chain blocked from the Rahu be a problem. So he goes Rahu, send to be able to summon the Guamel. Uses the Urgula and then chains the Guamel to be able to set Flame. Zeno's effect in the graveyard to take both bodies. And then, yeah, that's pretty much game at this point because there's not a lot for him to do after that. If he set Ketu, maybe there was a way if you like put this back and then Ketu'd and then fused, but yeah, so he goes Branded, what's it called? The Branded Retribution. I back to Branded in red. Branded in red. I back to Limitum. And this is where I started getting scared. I was like, oh my god, wait, he can actually do like a lot more still. He can keep going like very heavily. So he summons the Quaterus, uses the Adwib effect to be able to special back, summons back a Luber, so that if it's in the graveyard, he is able to, if this dies by battle or card effect, he can bring this back and negate something. So he passes here, and then we draw another Fool, a great card. This is what I was talking about where I wanted Ash Blossoms instead. Because like I feel like in Genesys you get more in a lot of like grindy games, even if you're playing like a fast control deck or a faster paced deck, you can still find yourself in these like slog matches that go on for 3, 4, 5 turns. And like when you're drawing these mulch armies in those matches, it sucks so bad. Like if they feel terrible. This is one of those moments where if these were Ash Blossoms, this game would have been over the previous turn. But because they're not, I'm working like with just -2 cards, which is very frustrating. So we're gonna go Scarlet. Scarlet to be able to set the Conquistador, and then we're going to go the Hidden Hecahands effect to make him draw and discard to trigger our guy in hand to be able to special him out. Return him to attack mode and just go battle phase, and that's enough damage for a game. Very, very nice. I think did we misplay there? I don't think there was anything that like stood out to me besides the spell negation on fusion deployment. I don't think we had to do that. That's the only thing that's standing out to me in my head. So we just Branded Opening, and this is where Fuwa comes in. Very nice. Maybe Fuwa is a better side deck card rather than a main deck card in this format. So he decides to add the Guiding Quem, very smart. Not many people know that. You can add a branded opening and not special from deck. So he goes that, and he draws Fusion Deployment. Wow, now I'm seeing this very unlucky draw on my part, the fact that he able to drew that, to be able to set up plays, because I didn't even realize that. So he goes Quem effect to be able to dump Branded Fusion and then set Fusion Deployment. So I go Spirit Sculptor effect. Oh no, I go Battle Phase because this trades over the Quem very nicely, just 16 to 15. So I didn't want to commit anything yet before this Quem was triggering. So I go Beat Over. Main phase 2, I just want to set up, like, he's 3 cards in my head. I'm like, I just want to set up counter traps as much as I can to stop him from being able to play too much. So we're going to go, I'm going to play with what he knows, which is the Spirit Sculptor line. So we're going to Spirit Sculptor for that. I go for the 50-50 here to see, because I assumed because of Fuaros that maybe he had extra monsters in his hand and he was holding them because he didn't fusion summon. We unfortunately hit the fusion deployment, which was sad. Makes me think I should have maybe went with the other guy and try to go for a top 3 line. I'm not sure, but it's fine because we still have the Yugioh. Of course, it sucks because we're not going to be able to go into our fusion monster, but we have the other, the counter trap anyway. So we're going to go Hidden Hecahands, send away the Hekaro, set the fusion spell, because we have the enough monsters on the field, and the the counter trap. Oh no, this was my misplay. Because this is right, because we can Godos special, and then Godos take their monster, and then we have this Godos and their monster to use to fuse with Tartaros to be able to go into the guy. We go end phase, set the elixir of the Golden Land, because I wanted the bounce as an interrupt. See, this is like where it being both matters. I really didn't want more value. I already had Scarlet, so I wanted to be able to get an interrupt, and I was going to use the special summon effect to be able to bounce something. So on res, this is where things go very haywire. Fusion deployment, branded fusion, Wubellion, be able to fuse, and tragedy. Tragedy be able to search, fusion back, summon out the Chaos Star Dragon, pop 2 cards. I could have specialed this. I didn't because it wouldn't trade into anything. And it just doesn't help me in this scenario, if I remember right. So he uses Albion, and we do it here. Summons the Cartesia, summons the Wilbur, adds branded in red. I wanted to try to beat the branded in red with my Godos. I was seeing if he would be able to activate the branded in red. He draws that for opening effect to be able to special Quem effect now to be able to dump. Uses the Cartesia to fuse. I have to resolve. Go into Quantarus. Uses the Quem effect targeting the Fallen of Albaz. He chains Brandon in red, targeting the Fallen Albaz, and I chain the spell or trap negate so that I'm able to take the Fallen now. So the Quem does not resolve. We're just figuring that out. And then he uses Quantarus to be able to reduce the attack. So I take this survives, and then this lives. During the end phase, we go Scarlet for Eldlich, and it seems like we're in a pretty good spot. I attempt to go battle phase. He has to Quantarus here. And then he goes, I make this, and he Quems. I think this was a misplay on my part. I forget if there was another way around this to not get hit by all this stuff of this Titaniclad in here. So yeah, we go into Fallen. At first I didn't care, but then I realized in the end phase is going to super matter. So I bring back the Eldlich, summon it out. He summons Despian Protaskian, terrifying card. So I summon back out the Zeno, try taking monsters. I get Borwood Furious Dragon, which is very cool. Furious Dragon, pop the Fallen Angel. He protects his guy. I summon Eldlich. And what I was supposed to do here was when I had Eldlich out, I think I was supposed to go battle phase because they're all big. And clear the Quem, the Quantarus, because I don't think this will trigger. Yeah, this won't trigger. Clear most of this, and he already protected, so he shouldn't have anything on the board, but I chose to use the Mad Golden Lord to take. That was greedy of me. So I take his guy, use Scarlet, and then I go hit over, and then, he uses the Aluber to negate the Boral, and I hit over the Quem, and I set during the end phase, he gets back Cartesia. I think this Aluber just shows not supposed to be here, and I feel like I might have been able to play around that Quem being able to revive instead of going for that initial fusion monster that I did, going into him to trigger it. I feel like there was a way where I might have been able to beat that without him getting this Titaniclad, because this is where everything goes pretty much wrong here. So we use this Cartesia and Brandon High Spirits to add back, and then the Titaniclad is able to summon out the Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz is able to discard and fuse, gets rid of my Zeno, does not trigger because it wasn't destroyed. summons Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade banish my Mad Golden Lord Albion to send banishment, bring back, and then fuse away both of my monsters. And then from there, I've pretty much seen enough because I only have 2 Conquistadors on the field, which is not helping me in this scenario. Now, game 3, I'm going first, so we're going to go Cursed Outland, add our Conquistador, and then we're going to use the Hidden Hecahands to be able to set the trap, add a monster, use the Cursed Outland effect, and now we are able to send another Conquistador. We're going to use Ipdel to be able to get Gygas effect. We do hit, so we are able to grab the Aluber, which is fine. You know, any monster is fine. We just need to be able to actually get to it. Next, go into the fusion effect to be able to grab the other trap. So now we have both end the spell. Summon Spirit Sculptor to add another body. I wanted this just as follow-up if I reset the Hidden Hecahands if I need to, or reset a counter trap. I was fine with it. He goes for the Cartesia. I turned 0 this out because I wanted to hurt his extra deck as much as possible, and we still have the counter traps anyway. So like these cards weren't adding much value regardless. So I wanted this out to be able to use it twice to rip extra deck cards on my turn and his turn while still having double counter trap, which is good. We don't have enough. What's it called? We have our Eldlich engine rolling already, so we can just keep going from there. We steal the Quantaris, and then we can use Conquistador to set Scarlet and pass. He goes Branded Opening in the draw phase. It uses the effect, and again, same thing. I don't want him to be able to use to get lost and then lost, Branded Fusion, etc., etc. So we just negate that. He goes Normal Summon Quem effect. I let it go through. He goes the Albion to send Retribution, and then uses the Retribution to get back the Branded Fusion. So now I know Branded Fusion, and like looking at his hand now is insane. Shadow Fusion, Rahu, and Branded Fusion is ridiculous. I use the Zeno trying to hit any relevant monster here. So I hit like 2 mediocre ones. I forget what they were exactly, but I take the Guilmel, and the reason I'm taking this is because he's playing, now I know he's playing Shadal, Branded, plus Draco Tail. So in my head, I'm like, he can't be playing a lot of Draco Tail names. There can't be a lot. What's it called? The other Draco Tail Fusion is like 30-something points, like 33 points. Obviously, Branded Fusion is like 40 or 30, or if it's 40. So he can't have a lot, so I don't want to, play into that. So yeah, like I said here, I knew he had a lot of points allocated to other cards in his deck, so I figured he had to make sacrifices somewhere. So he goes Shadow Fusion, send Dragon and the Frixel to be able to make Construct, and the Quem, and the Frixel and the Dragon all trigger. So it's very scary. He gets like everything off here. He pops the Scarlet. We're going to special summon the Golden Ward, and then he summons Rahu, resets Rahu, brings back Cartesia, and then sends the Shadow Beast to draw a card. He goes Branded Fusion. I negate that. I don't want to deal with Mirror Jade or anything involving it, so I take it. And then he uses Cartesia, effect the fuse, go into Grand Gignol. Grand Gignol send Titaniclad, summon Spriggan's Kit. Spriggan's Kit effect to be able to search and put back, adds High Spirits, and then puts back the Rahu, and then uses the Brandon High Spirits to, get rid of the Dragon monster, which is very cool to be able to get Fallen. Uses the Yugioh effect to add back the Frixel. And then from here, once he set this Rahu and didn't activate it, was when I realized I made the right choice. That this Guilmel was his only fusion target for the Draco Tail part of his deck. So once this wasn't used, I was like, okay, there's like a chance we're super in there now, because he was breaking through all of our interruptions, and the fact that you have to make these like split-second decisions of like what is important to take. This was a huge one to take because he only plays one Guilmel clearly, so he can't do anything. Just passes turn, uses the Albion to be able to get Brandon in red, Cartesia to be able to add itself back, and then Titaniclad to be able to summon Fallen of Albaz. He tries fusing in the end phase. I Conquistador to pop the Fallen of Albaz, so I don't have to worry about it fusing away my guys. So instead, Conquistador not being targeting, he fuses away with the Albaz for me, so instead I decided to pop the Quem just to clear it off the board so I don't have to worry about it on my turn. He goes into the Lubellion to fuse in the Mirror Jade effect to be able to get rid of the Zeno, and now I have to deal with a Rimbrum. So I immediately go right into the Fallen Angel, and then this is another nice piece of synergy here. In a minute, but he uses the the Rimbrum to get Fallen to fuse, and then we Quantaris. I actually misread this card. I did not realize it doesn't affect. It only affects non-fusion monsters. That was my own fault. So I didn't realize I put my own Eldlich to 0. So yeah. He fuses again to go into the Scar Storage to be able to pop 2, and then uses the Granganol to be able to summon the Despian. And then from here, we're able to use Hidden Hecahands. And that synergy I was talking about was Hidden Hecahands send away the Fallen Angel to be able to trigger it as well, which is very nice. So yeah, then we go into Ipdel effect to be able to summon the what's it called, the Yadel, and then send them away because we still have the school mail that was his, and then the Yadel to be able to reset our counter trap. Use our Eldlich to be able to set the Conquistador, use the what's it called, the Jazua to add back the counter trap again, then use Yadel in hand, add in Hecahands to deck thin here. Use Eldlich to send the Hin Hecahands to be able to bring it back at the full 35. He uses the Pratiscan to banish this because he can't take it because these, fun fact, these aren't summoned properly. So he can't take this or the Yugioh, which is very nice. So it works in my favor. And then, yeah. So we beat over. He negates the Mad Golden Lord, which is fine. We just beat over everything, make it really easy. And now he is top decking essentially with not a lot going on in his graveyard. Along with, we have double counter trap and Conquistador, as well as getting the Eldlich or Golden Land. So, I was waiting for him to use Mirror Jade to be able to bounce to deal with this because I just don't want to deal with Mirror Jade. It's such a pain in the butt card. But it's very hard for him to come out of this situation. He specials Cartesia, activate fusion deployment, summons out Fallen Valbaz, Fallen Valbaz effect discard. We Conquistador, go to pop. And he chains Cartesia, chains Mirror Jade, and then chains Cartesia. I use, what's it called? I'm thinking on the Mirror Jade. I go to negate the monster because I just don't want to deal with it. And like I said, I take it anyway. Or I would take it anyway. What's it called? And he protects it with opening, I believe. And yeah, it's just like wraps. We have too much going for us. We're able to beat over the rest of the board essentially and be perfectly fine. Which can't even die from the card effects from the Mirror Jade. And then we're able to reestablish again on the following turn with pretty much the same end board of the counter traps. Especially with this Glorious Golden Land coming to get more value coming back. Yeah, just way too much. So that is pretty much how the deck operates. It's very, like I said, very control. Setting up a lot of trap cards, a lot of back row with a very pain in the butt monsters to deal with of like value they don't want to interact with. So it's very interesting. Just a different take on Hecahands that I have not seen, and something that I personally am enjoying right now. Again, am I going to take this to Richmond? I don't know yet, but this is just something that I think I underestimated in the Hecahands engine. Again, being non-normal summon, double counter trap is very cool. It's just something to keep in mind. I think it's a neat card that comes with also hand traps with the Gagos as well. So again, I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you did. Let me know how else you would play Hecahands other than the obvious Chimera choice. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.